Hey, this is Alex Yoder with Pro Tip Tuesday, my favorite day of the week. And this is Christmas Eve, so we're going to make this video pretty brief. But I just want to talk about security deposit accounting, the deadlines, and also touch on bed bugs very briefly. So really all I want to talk about is the fact that we have 30 days as a default in the state of Colorado to return the security deposit. However, if your lease indicates otherwise, we can use up to 60 days. So most leases will have a 60-day provision where we can return that deposit within the 60-day window. Note, and it's an important thing to note, that you have 60 days to mail it. It does not have to be received within 60 days. It has to be mailed within 60 days. And when I say it, what I'm referring to is either security deposit, monies that were due back to the tenant, or a breakdown, a detailed breakdown of what was charged, if there was any items that should have been charged or held against the deposit based on the condition of the home or rents that were still owed or whatever it may be. So keep that in mind. The other thing is, and this is just a point of advice from me, I would encourage you not to rush that process. I know that we really do, we want to give that money back to the tenant, especially those good tenants, those tenants that left the home in really good condition and they're getting all their deposit back. We want to get that money back as soon as possible. However, my advice is that you hold off, that you wait, that you intentionally drag your feet in that process. I've had so many cases where we find something after the fact or down the road, the handyman was working on the property or checking on the property right before a new tenant moves in and they found like a rubber ducky stuck in the toilet that we didn't notice prior, and now you're out of luck on that $150 bill to get that rubber ducky out of the toilet. I had that exact situation happen, so you don't want to rush the process. There may be items that come up that would represent a prior tenant charge, and I would encourage you to use that window within your comfort level. So use the window, get it out within the 60-day time frame. If you miss the deadline, or if you have a tenant break lease, mid-contract, so you're not sure how those deadlines should work in those situations, for those two questions, you should really speak with an attorney, because it's very complex and starts to kind of get into legal advice. So speak with an attorney if you have unique situations like that. And as mentioned in a previous video, I talked about security deposit disputes, and I touched a little bit on depreciated value and that kind of stuff. If you have questions about how best to charge and what those depreciation schedules look like, you really should be speaking with a real estate attorney. Keep in mind, real estate attorneys are normally the cheapest attorneys you can get, because they do just a lot of business, and they, for evictions, they're doing, 20 all at one time. So they're able to do that. So generally speaking, if you need advice or need direction from a real estate attorney, it's pretty friendly in terms of the financial impact to get that advice. So that would be my advice. So the second thing I want to talk about is bed bugs. I've talked about it in a previous video, but I want to touch on it because we're just a couple of days away from the new law, the new bill on bed bugs. So I'm not going to go over the whole thing. Go look at my previous video, but just know January 1st of 2020, bed bugs are now on the landlord completely. We can no longer get away with having the tenant pay for that. It's unfortunate because usually they're brought in by the tenant, but that's the bill. That's the bill that was passed. We'll try to fight it. We'll try to get it amended here, and work with legislators in the next year or two to kind of make that more balanced. But that's what we have to deal with as of January 1st of 2020. So don't forget that. And that is all I had for today. This has been Pro Tip Tuesday. Alex Yoder, Dorman Real Estate Management. We will see you next year. Goodbye.